Okay, so once again, good morning everyone. Ayan, so narito na tayo sa second part ng ating video lesson since you are not able to attend na sa ating online class. No, kasi due to have some heavy rains, ayan, medyo makulimlim na naman. Due to some heavy rains, meron tayong mga circumstances na kinakaharap like mahina ang signal, walang load. So that's understandable. So, naintindihan namin yan. That's why, since ayaw namin ma-stop ang learning, so, we are going to extend or maging flexible so that we can still have a proper learning no, kahit nasa bahay kayo. Yan. So, sa ating first na video lesson, na-discuss natin about the organic unity. Now, we discuss under organic unity yung tatlong components, yung subject natin, the form, and the content. No? So, na-discuss na natin yung mga yon. Alam niyo na kung ano yung subject. Again, the subject is the thing na nakikita natin, na-observe natin, yung pwede nating ma-describe. When we say form naman, ito yung paano. Paano siya ginawa, paano ginamit yung mga different elements of arts, mga principles of arts, and everything na pwede natin gamitin para makabuo ng isang art. Okay? And the last one, we have the content. So the content, it is the meaning. Ano yung kino-convey na meaning ng ating creative work or ng isang literary pieces or ng isang visual arts, ng isang applied, ng isang traditional art. So those are the organic unity. Na pag nagsama-sama yung tatlong yon, ibig sabihin, an artwork is actually a good artwork or successful artwork. Okay, so right now, we're going to continue our discussion under application of the organic unity into different art forms. So ngayon, magkakaroon na tayo ng application. Yan. So i-apply na natin kung paano natin i-evaluate yung mga different art forms natin. Okay? So unahin natin, of course, ang visual arts. Yan. So visual arts, meron tayo ditong The Scream. Ayan yung ating painting by Edvard Munch. So the scream, ang subject natin dito, a person standing on a bridge appearing to scream or express intense distress. So again, 'di ba ang subject natin, 'di ba meron tayong different subjects. We have the representational, non-representational, and the abstract subject. Okay? So ito, isang example ito ng abstract subject because ayan, nakaka-identify pa rin tayo ng mukha. So, ang subject natin dito, a person standing on a bridge. Ayan. So, nakatayo yung tao sa may tulay. Tama naman. Yung description natin. And, ang person na to is appearing to be or to scream or express intense distress. It's because you see yung kanyang facial expression, para siyang natatakot, sumisigaw, yung shape ng kanyang bunganga. Ayan. Kung mapapansin niyo yung shape ng kanyang bunganga parang sumisigaw. Nalilito siya, natatakot. So, yun yung subject natin. Yan ang pinapakita ng ating subject. Under Visual Arts, The Scream by Edvard Munch. Ano naman kaya ang magiging form nito? Ang form naman ng visual arts na to ay strong curving lines. So, ayan. If we're going to observe, ayan, most of the lines na ginamit dito ng ating painter ay curve lines. And gumamit siya ng mga dramatic colors. Why dramatic colors? Because, di ba, kung makikita natin, we have here color red, color orange, na medyo yellowish. No? So, kapag ka mga ganyan yung nakikita natin, medyo, di ba, kapag ka nakikita natin yung sunset, diba, parang we are feeling lonely, like we are feeling something. na intense sa emotions natin. No? Next one, gumamit din ng form ang ating um, ang ating artist dito na distorted figures and landscape. Pag sinabing distorted, hindi siya normal na line. So, pag distorted, pwede siyang maging zigzag, pwede siyang maging curved lines, or mga ganyan-ganyan na lines. Yan, yung jagged lines na tinatawag natin. And gumamit din siya ng form under unusual composition. Bakit unusual composition kaya? Unusual composition, it's because hindi siya gumamit ng normal. Normal na shape ng tao, normal na shape ng sky, normal shape ng dagat. Yan. So, unusual composition ang ginamit niya. And strong contrast between the sky and the darker foreground. Yan. So, merong distinct na pagkakahiwalay ang ating sky at ang kanyang foreground. It's because of the color, yung paggamit niya ng kulay. Okay, so yan yung form under visual arts, the screen. So ano naman kaya ang pwedeng maging content nito or ng meaning? So the artwork communicates anxiety, fear, distress, and emotional turmoil. Ayan. So this one, again, itong The Scream kasi by Edward Munch, no? The history, actually this is an historical event sa kanilang lugar. So, ito yung time na sumabog yung, I believe it's a volcano. So, nagkaroon ng eruption. That's why nagkaroon ng panic, nagkaroon ng anxiety, na distress yung mga tao, and emotional turmoil. Ibig sabihin, they don't know what they're doing. If they want to scream, they want to run, they want to hide. So, yun yung content nito. So, yan yung meaning niya. Okay, so that is under visual arts. So bakit nga ba isa siyang magandang halimbawa ng organic unity? No, so let's see. The distorted subject here is supported by distorted lines and intense color, which create the same feeling of anxiety. So you see the connection of the subject since gumamit si Edward Munch ng wavy lines para i-create ang um, representation niya ng person. Siyempre, gagamit din dapat siya ng curved lines dito sa mga nasa background niya. Okay, so naintindihan ninyo. So since gumamit siya ng distorted lines, gagamit siya ng intense color para maipakita sa atin ano nga ba yung feeling of anxiety. So kaya siya magandang halimbawa ng organic unity. So there is a subject there is a form, and there is content. Okay? So that is visual arts under the screen by Edvard Munch. Next, we have literary arts. Ang napili ko ay The Roads Not Taken by Robert Frost. Ayan. So, ito yung ating poem or ating story. If you're familiar with Roads Not Taken, we're not going to read it anymore. Mag-proceed na tayo agad sa kung ano yung subject nitong, but if you want to read, you can pause the video and basahin ninyo para at least makita natin kung pareho lang ba tayo ng tinutukoy na subject, na form, and content. Okay. Going back, let's go to subject. Ano ba ang subject ng literary piece na to by Robert Frost? Ang sabi dito, there is a traveler facing two roads and having to make a choice. Ayan. Yun yung pinapakita. Yun yung subject niyan. Yun yung nilalaman. Diba? Under literary, if we are talking about the subject, we are talking about the context. Kung ano yung, kumbaga, pinaka synopsis ng isang poem or ng story. So itong dito sa poem na to by Robert Frost, meron daw isang traveler na namimili sa dalawang daanan. So, kailangan niyang magkaroon ng definite choice if pipiliin ba niya ang road A or road B. Ayan. Road A and road B. Ayan yung tao, halimbawa. Ayan. So that is the subject of the road not taken by Robert Frost. Now, ano naman ang kanyang form? Paano kaya isinulat? Di ba? How? Paano kaya isinulat ni Robert Frost ang The Roads Not Taken? Let's see. Sabi dito, the poem uses 4 stanzas. So, gumamit siya ng 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, that is stanza 1, second stanza, third, and fourth. So, yun yung unang form na ginamit niya. And, gumamit siya ng rhyming lines. So, saan kaya natin makikita ang mga rhyming lines? Tingnan natin dito. 2 roads diverge in a yellow wood, and sorry, I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down as one as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So kung makikita natin dito, gumamit siya dito ng would, stood, could. So yun yung mga rhyming lines dito sa ating first stanza. And of course, meron tayong both and undergrowth. So yun yung tinatawag nating rhyming lines. Ayan. Gumamit din siya ng repetition. Ano yung mga pwedeng repetition dyan? Yung mga end. Ganyan. Imagery of a forest and a 2 roads. Saan dyan kaya yung imagery of a forest? Ayan, dito, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Ayan yung tinatawag nating forest. Tapos yung 2 roads naman, dito na tayo sa pangatlo, yun yung 2 roads. No? I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on the way, I doubted if I should ever come back. So, namimili siya sa dalawang kalsada and symbolism. Under symbolism, gumamit siya ng mga words that symbolizes something. So, that is the form under literary arts, Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Yan. Tandaan natin that in form, in literary arts, pag pinag-uusapan natin ang form, it is not just, hindi siya nakafocus sa physical appearance ng poem or ng any literary pieces natin. No, but it includes the writer use of words, imagery, symbolism, rhythm, structure, and other literary techniques na wherein I believe natapos na natin i-discuss yung mga different literary techniques. Paano tayo magsusulat ng isang tula, ng isang short story, ng novel, or fiction or non-fiction writings. Okay? Basta tatandaan, hindi tayo nakafocus. Pag pinag-uusapan ang literary arts, we are not focusing on physical appearance. But more on sa context. Ano yung mababasa natin doon. Okay? That is the form under literary arts. Third one, ano naman kaya ang content nitong literary art na to? Now, sabi dito, the poem explores choices, decisions, uncertainty, and the consequences of the paths we take in life. You see, no, sa very short na poem na sinulat ni Robert Frost, maraming mga meanings. Marami tayong pwedeng makuhang mga ideas, mga interpretation. So, sabi dito, pwede daw tayong makakuha dito ng kung paano tayo mamimili, kung paano tayo magde-decide. No? Pwede din itong poem na 'to, it's all about uncertainty. Ibig sabihin, we are, under, certain dilemma wherein we have to choose from dalawang choices natin. Halimbawa, kung papasok ka ba or hindi. Ang dilemma doon, kung papasok ako, may baon ako. Pero kung di ako pumasok, wala akong baon, wala akong matututunan. So that is yung tinatawag nating usual na dilemma natin. Ayan. So uncertainty and the consequences of the paths we take in life. Ayan. So under din siya ng kung ano yung pinili mo ngayon na grade 11 ka, grade 12 until mag-college ka. So yan yung pwedeng maituro sa atin nitong The Roads Not Taken by Robert Frost. Okay? Ayan. So bakit naman ito magandang organic unity under literary arts? Two roads are not simply part of the setting. Ayan. Sabi diyan, ang two roads ay hindi lang siya basta part ng setting. Hindi siya yung literal na daanan. Pero anong nangyari doon? It symbolizes life choices. Oh, napakaganda. No, yeah, we are imagining at this literary art na the roads not taken, dalawang daanan. So, ini-imagine natin may dalawang daanan. Pero in reality, it is about life choices. Di ba? Lahat naman ng tao dumadaan sa mga choices, dumadaan sa mga decision making. So, yan yung tinuturo sa atin nitong poem na to. And the poem structure, language, imagery, and symbolism all help communicate the idea of making decision. Ayan. Para malaman nyo to, no? Para mas lalo ninyong maintindihan itong sinabi dito, ang structure daw ng poem, language, imagery, symbolism, tinulungan niyang ma-communicate yung ideas of making decision. O, i-pause nyo yung video, then basahin ninyo to. Tapos, tanongin ninyo yung sarili niyo kung paano niyo siya naintindihan. Okay, so that is Literary Arts and the Roads Not Taken by Robert Frost. Okay, next tayo. Number 3. Ayan, nawala yung ating ano. Number 3. Ayan. We have here the media arts. Media arts. So, example natin dito, pinakamadali, General Luna. O pinaka-the best na example natin, General Luna. For context ng General Luna is a film noong 2015 directed by Gerald Tarog. It is a Filipino historical film centered on General Antonio Luna during the Philippine-American War. So yan yung nilalaman ng film na to. So it's all about historical event. 'Di ba? Tatandaan ninyo, 'di ba, yung isa sa pinaka content ng ating subject ay mga historical event. So, pwede yan. Katulad ng example natin doon sa unang video lesson natin, yung painting, no, ng execution of Rizal. Yan, if you can remember that. Ayan. So, ito ay under ng historical event na kung saan ang bida ay si Antonio Luna. The subject is General Antonio Luna, the Philippine Army. So, isa siyang Philippine Army, si Antonio Luna. Ayan, makikita nyo naman yung kanyang kasuotan. And also, the subject of this film is all about the struggle for Philippine independence. Kung paano pinaglaban ng mga Filipino, kasama si Antonio Luna, yung kalayaan ng Pilipinas. That's the subject. Ayan. Paano naman, sir, pag-form? Ayan. If we're going to talk about media arts under form, di ba, napag-aralan natin, pinag-uusapan natin dito ang cinematography. Ayan. Pag sinabi natin cinematography, diyan papasok yung settings, ayan, yung mga paano siya ginawa. Diba? Yung kanilang mga costumes. Yan, cinematography, ibig sabihin, kung ito ba ay indie film, di ba pag indie film medyo yung parang view natin doon ay medyo dark, medyo parang kalumaan, mga ganon. So that is cinematography, camera angles. Yan, gumamit ang mga cameraman natin dito and videographers ng different camera angles to show emotions, to show a certain dialogues. Yan, pag-aralan natin yan. So, kapag nakafocus ang, katulad nito, sa picture natin dito, ayan, kapag nakafocus ang camera angle sa mukha ng isang tao, ibig sabihin, they want to show the expression of that certain character. Ayan. Next naman, under form, we have lighting, o yung ilaw, yung acting, of course, kasama dyan, the dialogues, the music, sound effects, editing, costumes, and settings. Ayan. So, yan yung form. So, if you haven't watched General Luna, panoorin nyo. Very, maganda siyang panoorin. Marami tayong matututunan. Next, under the content of this media art, the film explores patriotism, leadership, conflict, sacrifice, and the struggle for national unity. Katulad ng sinabi ko, pag pinanood niyo yung film na to, natuturuan tayo about sa pagiging patriot natin. Magkakaroon tayo ng patriotism na tinatawag. Ibig sabihin, magkakaroon na tayo ng knowledge on how are we going to support yung mga meron tayo as a Filipino. Yan. Leadership. Isa din yan sa mga pwedeng maging content niya. It's because General Luna, ayan, si Antonio Luna, si General Luna, siya yung isa sa mga naging leader, tumayong leader. So pinakita niya kung paano yung actions, kung paano dapat yung characteristics ng pagiging isang leader. Especially the time na nagkakaroon na ng problema, ng conflict. Ayan. And of course, sacrifices. No, instead of they're just doing kung ano lang yung gagawin nila. No, dahil gusto nga nilang ilaban ang Pilipinas, nag-sacrifice sila, sinacrifice nila yung kung ano man yung meron sila. Diba? They have a lot of time para sa kanilang family, but nilaan nila yung oras na yun just to sacrifice. Sinacrifice nila yung oras nila para ipaglaban yung Pilipinas. And of course, struggle for national unity. Na kung saan, di ba, meron pa rin hanggang ngayon na nagkakaroon pa rin tayo ng struggle for national unity. Kasi nga hanggang ngayon, our government are still not connected to each other. So, makita natin yung reality. That's the reality and the content of General Luna, film General Luna noong 2015 under Media Arts. Okay, so bakit naman ito magandang organic unity? The historical subject is supported by the films, period costume, locations, dramatic acting, music, cinematography, and dialogue. So imagine, no? Imagine natin, let's say for example, General Luna ang film, pero yung mga suot nila, di ba yung mga suot nila ay kasuotan natin ngayon. So hindi siya angkop, hindi siya tugma. So yung subject pa lang at saka yung form doon, hindi na siya magiging wala na siyang tinatawag nating unity. So, maganda tong film na to. It's because, since ang subject natin is all about historical events, so dapat, ang maging form natin doon under costume and settings ay yung mga makasaysayang lugar and of course, yung mga kasuotan during that time. Katulad kung sila ay nagsusuot pa dyan ng mga barot saya, ng mga barong, then yan yung makikita natin mga costume nila. Kung sila ay nagsasalita ng straight na Tagalog o yung mga malalalim na Tagalog, yun yung makikita natin. And these elements work together to create the experience and meaning of the story. So para malaman natin, maintindihan natin ano yung meaning nito, kailangan yun yung nakikita natin. Katulad nun, when si General Luna, nakasuot siya ng pang-general. So alam natin na si General Luna is talagang under ng Philippine Army. And those people, yung mga extras, yung mga kasama dyan na character, so they have really worked together para mapakita kung ano yung naging experience ng mga tao noon during the Philippine-American War. So, napakaganda. Ganda pag-aralan ng arts. Ayan. And the fourth one, meron tayong applied arts. Ang example natin dito, Filipino Butaka Chair. Ayan yung tumba-tumba. No, in other terms, yan yung tinatawag nating tumba-tumba. Now again, tatandaan natin, pag sinabing applied arts, diba, we're not just talking about the aesthetic appearance or aesthetic view ng isang object or ng isang art piece, but we are also talking about the functionality of that certain art or certain design. No? Dito sa example natin ng applied arts, ang subject natin dito ay upuan. Upuan designed for sitting and relaxation. Di ba yan yung mga favorite? Parang iilan na lang kasi yung may mga ganito ngayon. Butaka chair. Ayan. So, ginagamit daw siya for sitting and relaxation. Ayan. Ano naman ang form natin dito? Ang form natin dito, pag pinag-uusapan ang applied arts, wooden structure, ano yung ginamit na kahoy dyan? Kung ito ba ay nara, mangga, o ane, o mahogany. Ngayon, pwede nating maging wooden structure o curved ornaments. Pag pinag-usapan ang curved ornaments, ayan, yung mga design niya dyan. Paano kaya nila ginawa yan? Of course, using anong klase ng technique? Using sculpture. Okay, nag-sculpt sila ng mga different design. Woven cane components. Ayan, woven cane. Kung ito ba ay matibay. Proportion and shape. Anong shape yan? So, ito ay curve. Curve, tapos straight line, mga wavy lines. And proportion ba siya? Pantay ba yung kanyang pagkakagawa? Halimbawa, ito, pantay ba yung length niyan at saka pantay ba yung dito? And materials and decorative details. Ayan, so yun yung mga pwede nating ilagay kapag pinag-uusapan natin ang applied arts. So nakadepende pa rin naman kung anong klase ng applied arts yung i-evaluate natin. No? So at the end of this lesson, bibigyan ko kayo ng activity para at least makita natin paano ninyo ma-apply yung mga na-discuss nating concepts. Hindi lang tayo basta magdi-discuss dito, but aalamin natin paano ninyo ma-apply ngayon. So, ano naman ang content nito? So, ang content nito is for comfort, craftsmanship, and Filipino design identity. Ayan. So, unang content niya, di ba, pag nakikita natin yung mga upuan na ganito, di ba, parang ang gandang upuan. Diba? Nakakapagbigay siya ng relaxation, ng comfort. Ano pa, craftsmanship, kasi parang halos wala nang gaanong tumatangkilik ng mga ganito. No? Kasi yung iba gumagamit na ng mga, ayan, yung mga umiikot na upuan, katulad nito. Yung mga upuan na parang incline chair, o yung mga ergonomic chair na natin. Di ba? Yung mga gaming chair, o yung mga ganon. So, craftsmanship, and of course, Filipino design identity. So, since under tayo ng Philippines, yan yung mga dating nakikita natin sa mga lumang bahay. Kung meron pa kayong ganyan, and that's good. So, pinapakita natin yung pagkakaroon natin ng identity as Filipino under applied arts. So, bakit naman siya magandang organic unity? The design is connected to its function. So, tama naman. Ang design na to ay connected doon sa function na kung saan pwede natin siyang upuan and makakapagbigay siya ng relaxation. The shape, materials, construction, and appearance all work together to make the chair both useful and aesthetically pleasing. So, ibig sabihin, na-achieve natin yung pinaka-purpose ng applied arts. No? Naging useful siya, nagamit natin siya, and of course, pwede din siyang magkaroon ng aesthetically view. Kasi nga meron siyang mga design. So that is applied arts under organic unity. So sana ay naiintindihan ninyo. Kung hindi nyo maintindihan, ulit-ulitin nyo lang yung video na to. Last one. Pinakalas na tayo. We have here traditional arts. Ayan. Tinalak weaving. So, ang subject natin dito, traditional patterns and culturally meaningful designs. Traditional. Nandiyan na yung traditional patterns. Ayan. Kung titignan ninyo itong example natin dito, ayan yung mga different traditional patterns natin. Para siyang, ayan, merong mga paganyan, tapos may paganyan. Di ba pag sinabi natin pattern, nauulit-ulit yung isang shape. So, inuulit-ulit yung isang shape para maging pattern siya. Ayan. And of course, culturally meaningful design. So, yung mga design na yan, yung mga makikita nating design under tinalak weaving, hindi lang siya basta dinesign ng ating mga artist, ng ating mga weaver. No? But para sa kanila, meron siyang cultural meaning. Yung iba, they are using a subject na mga araw, ibon, diba? Kasi dati, kung makita natin yung mga tao before, di ba, mahilig silang, meron silang mga gods and goddesses. Meron silang God of Sun, God of Star, God of Water, mga ganyan. So, yung mga yon, yung mga pattern na yan, mga design na meron sila, it has meaning para sa kanila. So, yan yung pwede natin maging subject under traditional arts. Ano naman ang form? O pag pinag-uusapan natin ang form under traditional arts, we are talking about the materials, paano siya ginawa. Abaca fiber, yung parang sinulid, yan yung ginagamit nila. Traditional weaving techniques, ayan. So, gumagamit sila dito ng mga kahoy. Ayan, ang dami-daming kahoy. Tapos parang hinihila nilang ganon. Tapos another one. Ayan. Geometric patterns. Yan na naman si geometric patterns. Nandiyan na naman yung mga shapes natin. Different colors. Arrangement of designs. Handcrafted process. Handcrafted process siya. Kasi hindi siya machine. Tao mismo ang gumawa. Yan yung form natin under tinalak weaving. And the content, itong tinalak weaving na to ay galing sa ating mga kapatid na Tibuli. Cultural identity, traditions, beliefs, and heritage. Ayan. So, itong tinalak weaving na to, naka-under siya ng cultural identity ng mga Tibulis natin, traditions nila, paniniwala nila, and ng kanilang heritage o ng kanilang komunidad. And that's why mahalaga sa kanila yan. So, hindi nila basta-basta binibitawan, hindi nila basta-basta pinapahiram sa ibang tao. Bakit naman siya magandang example ng organic unity? Ayan, the patterns, materials, weaving techniques, and cultural meaning are connected. The design are not simply decorative, they are part of cultural identity and tradition of Tiboli people. Tandaan natin. Magandang example ito ng organic unity kasi yung mga design nila, hindi siya nakafocus para lang decoration. Pero kung titignan natin, it has a deeper meaning na kung saan it identifies their culture and tradition as Tiboli people. Yan. So that is traditional arts. So, ano naman ang magiging takeaways natin dito sa ating lesson bago natin i-end? Ayan. So, always remember, organic unity does not look exactly the same in every art form. Tatandaan ninyo hindi magkakapareho ang magiging subject, magiging form, at magiging content ng mga iba't ibang art forms na meron tayo. No. Tatandaan, in visual arts, we might focus on colors and composition. Since nakikita lang natin siya, nahahawakan natin, nafe-feel natin, pwede lang tayong mag-focus sa color and composition. Yun lang yung pwede nating makita. Pag sa literary literature naman, it's all about language and symbolism. Yung paggamit ng mga lengguwahe, paggamit ng mga figurative language. Yan. In media, nakafocus tayo dito sa camera, sound, and editing. Wherein sa applied arts naman, nakafocus tayo sa design and function. And in traditional materials, ayan, so nakafocus tayo sa materials, techniques, patterns, and cultural meaning. So, tignan natin, no, that in every art form that we have, makakahanap tayo ng organic unity. For as long as the subject and the form are connected, and sa content, the functions or meaning nung isang art form na yon ay napakita. So magkakaroon yun ng organic unity. So that's the importance of applying the evaluation of organic unity under subject, form, and content. So I really hope na you learn a lot about this lesson, and not just it's because it's part of our discussion. So but what I want you to learn is that in every art, katulad ng sinasabi ko sa inyo palagi, that in every art form na ginagawa ninyo, may it be visual, literature, media, applied, or traditional arts, all of that, lahat yan ay merong pinanggagalingan. So we must always learn how to view. Matuto tayong i-view ito or tignan ito in a positive way. So yun yung palaging tinuturo sa inyo, na walang pangit na arts for as long as you know how to properly use, how to properly convey kung ano yung gusto mong iparating sa iyong mga magiging viewers. So that's all. That's the end of our discussion, and I hope that you learned a lot. And once again, so panoorin niyo lang tong video na 'to ng paulit-ulit if hindi niyo maintindihan. And of course, since tapos na ang discussion natin, I am going to give you activity. And those activities are of course related dito sa mga diniscuss natin. Ayan. So that's the end of our discussion. Stay safe, everyone. Stay safe and see you soon kapag ka meron na tayong um, klase.